am part of the first generation of people who do not know a day of their conscious life without the ADA. I was 3 years old when the ADA was enacted.
I was born 2 years after the ADA was passed, so I couldn't imagine what it would be like if the ADA hadn't been passed.
Because the ADA has spanned my lifetime, I only know the struggles I went through with having the ADA by my side. I can only appreciate from afar the struggles of those who went before me and paved the way to make the bill become law.
Life before the ADA was difficult to even navigate through your communities. There weren't curb cuts, there wasn't accessible public transportation. To find a job, an equitable job, was almost non-existent.
When I graduated from high school, I had a guidance counselor who did everything within his power to force me to go into a sheltered workshop, even though I graduated 6th in my class.
The doors would constantly close just based on having a disability, not who you were inside as a person or your knowledge or your intelligence. Just seeing that you had a disability shut doors.
Fortunately for me, my parents were adamant about the fact that they didn't want me in a sheltered workshop, so to the tune where the state refused to pay for my higher education. So my parents had to take out a loan for me to go to college because I refused to go to the sheltered workshop. But unfortunately, a lot of my friends who also graduated from the School of Blind went to that sheltered workshop, and they were working for sub-minimum wage.
We all traveled in that same path to be seen and to be heard. And at times it took militant actions, and we were there doing that.
I need you to see me. I need you to see me. I need you to see me. Yes, I really hope you. Yes, I really hope you. Yes, I really hope you can see me now. Because we're all looking for the same old things. To be loved, to be held, for the joy it brings. So I want you to hold me tight. To let wrap around me in the stillness of the night.
It was a point in my life where I was only 20-some years old, and we were capturing buses. And I was so scared to go to jail, because I always did everything appropriately, but we were willing to put ourselves on the line because it would have never changed if we hadn't done that.
It's a matter of civil rights to make things possible for people with disabilities and to make things as equal as possible.
Even now, you know, when you pass new legislation, things happen slowly. Even now, only approximately 30% of visually impaired folk, for example, are employed to where they receive a living wage.
More equality in employment has to take place. A lot of companies don't include people with disabilities in their diversity programs. They acknowledge, women and people of color, and but they don't acknowledge specifically people with disabilities. And I think by not addressing it, they're also not adhering to it.
To a certain extent, there has to be a acknowledgement in the diversity community about people with disabilities, because disabilities is our own culture, and a lot of times people with disabilities are not thought of as a culture. And but there are ways we have to act, and ways that we have to live our lives just like any culture in order to deal with the life we're given.
Prejudice is prejudice, whether it's against persons with disability or whether it's against nationalities. The ironic thing, though, if you and I were to get hurt and we would go to University Hospital or Cleveland Clinic and you need O positive blood, they would take O positive blood from me and give it to you. No matter what you thought of me, I'd save your life without you knowing it was me. And I think that's the way we need to look at persons with differences, persons with disabilities, persons of different nationalities. We should be judged by our character and our ability rather than our disability.
There's just so much that people with disabilities have to offer well beyond their disabilities.
My life has changed significantly as a result of the ADA because the freedoms to make choices was not available before the ADA. So as an artist, it's opened the doors of accessibility backstage, on stage, as a patron. It's allowed people to understand that yes, physical dance is possible on a professional level by a person in a wheelchair.
I wouldn't have the life I had today without the ADA. You know, the ADA has afforded me the opportunity to go to college in an accessible atmosphere.
I think the greatest success of the ADA is to get people gainfully employed that have disabilities. People with disabilities were having difficulties getting an opportunity. And I think since the ADA requires an employer to give me a fair opportunity, it gives me a better chance to get a decent job. And that makes me and anyone else with a disability feel good about themselves. It makes them feel like a productive citizen.
So as the ADA developed its level of equality for everyone, it started to change people's attitudes as well, so that we not only see people adhering to the law, but they're more into the spirit of the law as well.
My favorite part of today is that it's continuing and that I believe that it's going to get better.
What was once a dim light that looks like a night light is now shining upon more people with disabilities.
The future is going to be handed off to our young people with disabilities that will act as advocates and champion what needs to happen next.
It is wonderful that we are having this celebration today, but the real question is what will happen after today. There is still much work that needs to be done.
I hope the next victory is when we no longer need to have ADA and that people just have it so built into themselves that we don't even see the disabilities. We just see people with their abilities.
It's just all about moving that needle a little bit further and really making sure that every individual has the same opportunities and the same access as the rest of us.
So now, with the ADA, the doors of opportunities have opened wide and the possibilities truly are endless.
My name is Stephen Kyman and I am ADA.
My name is Melissa Fowler and I am ADA.
I am ADA and proud of it.
I am ADA.
I am Exhibit A of the ADA.
I am ADA.
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 So we'll count it off.
All right.
All right, ready?
Hold on. 1, 2, 3. We are ADA!